welcome back to Memories of a Musician. I'm your host, Vito DeSalvo. Once again, we have a great program for you this evening, featuring a gentleman by the name of Eric Susoeff. And Eric is an acclaimed guitarist in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania region, but goes far beyond that, around the world actually, with his playing. And he's a composer. He's an educator. You're going to hear a lot more about Eric and his accomplishments in a few moments when we bring him on the program. But first, I want to tell you quickly, and I'll talk with Eric about this when he comes on the program, about the first time we actually played together in an ensemble was for recording for a common friend of ours, Jim Guerra, was doing his recording. I think the title of the recording was Hold Me. It was the recording. I played accordion on one of the tracks called Dear John, and Eric was on that session. It was a recording session at George Hyde Recording Studio in Aspinwall, Pennsylvania, and there was a big band there. I mean, the whole band, everybody, it was great. And so anyhow, we had our, that was really, I think, the only time that I actually worked with Eric. But I've known him and I've known his reputation. I've heard him play many times prior to that, and great player and just a great guy. So I put together an opening montage that will give you some sense, and there's a lot in here, about Eric and a lot of the different musicians that he worked with. Or you'll see a lot right here. So let me play this for us here. And there you go. Eric is, as you can see, one busy guy for sure. Busy musician there. A lot going on. I'm going to read a little bit about his background to you. Well known to local jazz enthusiasts, guitarist and composer Eric Susoeff has been part of the Pittsburgh music scene since his debut with Harold Betters at the Encore in 1976. Offering a warm, bluesy, full-bodied sound, he has played with a long list of local and international luminaries, including Dizzy Gillespie, David Amron, Roger Williams, Airto, Ivan Lins, Romero Lumbambo, Charo, Frankie Avalon, Marty Allen, Eric Kloss, Frank Conamundo, Gene Ludwig, Pete Henderson, Dave and Maureen Budway, Sandy Staley, Kenya, Roger Humphreys, Aaron Burkett, Kenny Blake, Walt Harper, Nathan Davis, Don Alico, John Wilson, Mike Tamaro, and many others. Leader of the Latin jazz quintet Salsamba, founded in 1984, the group has played clubs, festivals, and colleges throughout the U.S. Salsamba has 6 recordings to their name, including the most recent Mojito Blues. Past releases, Mambo in Blue, Mambo del Sol, Latin Inventions, The Traveler, Brasilia, all received critical acclaim. Additional recording credits include musical artists Kenya, Don Alico Jr., Sandy Staley, Mike Tamaro, Richie Cole, Tamara Tooney, Azukar, and about 80 others. His flair for arranging the beautiful music of Antonio Carlos Jobim led to a 2005 CD with soprano Lily Abreu and Quarteto Latinoamericano, an internationally known string quartet. Eric has been on stage and TV playing everything from nostalgic rock to show tunes and avant-garde chamber music with groups as diverse as the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble, the Marcells, Carnegie Mellon University Drama Department, and Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. In 2017, Eric enjoyed a 3-month jazz club residency in Hangzhou, China, performing with the George Hyde Third Quartet. Recently, Eric appeared with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra to perform the August Wilson Symphony, a world premiere. Eric last performed with the Pittsburgh Symphony in January of 2003 as part of a Pittsburgh Symphony Pops concert conducted by Marvin Hamlish. Eric is an adjunct guitar professor at Duquesne University. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring Eric on to the program. And there he is. Hey, Eric, how you doing today?
I'm good, Vito. Thanks for having me on.
You're quite welcome, and I apologize. I probably messed up some of those names that weren't really familiar with me, you know.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, I've been lucky, to have a busy career. As I work a lot with Eric DeFay, the saxophonist, and so recently I came into the gig because I'd been thinking, I'm like, well, I've been playing gigs for 50 years, and roughly 200 gigs a year. That's 10,000 gigs, and I say to Eric, and Eric just goes, "What are you, Rain Man now?" And then he says, "Look, you and I have done 10,000 gigs together."
Yeah, that's probably true. And I know Eric's like that too. He does count because Eric was on tour with me for about 6 or 7 years with one of the international artists. So we had a lot of fun together. Great. And of course, Eric was a guest on the show here, and his brother Ray was my drummer for several years with my group. Right. And of course, his father, I knew Ray Sr. because the first year I was a student at Duquesne University, he was my jazz band director. So, yeah, the whole family.
Great musicians. Yeah, wonderful.
For sure. So, we were talking a little bit before we got on the program about when you and I met and playing that recording for Jim Guerra.
Yes.
That was a pretty interesting time, huh?
Yeah, there was some really fine musicians on the session in some varied settings. Jim paid me for one of them with a bottle of your wine.
Is that right, huh?
Yes. Which I was very happy about. The wine is delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, another session I got paid for with a head of garlic that he had grown.
That's Jim
Also
Guerra.
happy about.
Yeah, oh, love it. It's
He
great.
paid me money too. Just
Yeah,
to be clear.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's fun, and I remember that session so well, and I think his son Jason was playing bass, and my friend Evan Broman, the trombone player, he's one of my mentors, and taught under Evan Broman, and we eventually I taught in the same district, but there were so many great, like you said, great players on that whole session. I think Roger Humphreys was playing drums, and
Roger was there. Sean Jones played trumpet. John Wilson played trumpet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jimmy had the best in town there for that.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. So, Eric, tell me about how you got started in music. What was your first instrument? When did you start? What was your inspiration to start a musical instrument?
Well, I started at a young age, and somehow, I don't know how, there was a guitar kicking around the house. I'm not sure it even had all the strings on it, and I was very young, maybe 5, and I would just sort of bang on this thing, and then eventually, better instrument came into the house, and one day, I would have been about 6 years old. One day, my mother at dinner, I remember very clearly, she said to me and my brother, who was 3 years older than me, she said, well, why don't one of you learn to play the guitar and the other learn to play the drums? And so for me, it was the guitar, no question.
Okay.
Once I heard that, or I think I already, I seemed to like music. I'm not sure why, but just liked it. And the guitar seemed, there was no question it was going to be the guitar. So, yeah.
I have a picture, and I think probably about 7 years old here.
Yeah.
If you were in second grade.
Yeah. My father was a photographer, so I have a lot of pictures from my youth, including this one, which he took. And that actually was a adapted version of Shakespeare for kids. And my part was called the Music Man. And because she heard I played guitar, my teacher heard that I played the guitar, and so they had me play on the intermission. I played "Walk Don't Run."
Oh,
It's a popular song, and then fortuitously was actually written by the great jazz guitarist Johnny Smith, although the Ventures had done a adaptation of it.
Sure.
So years and years later, I learned about Johnny Smith. I'm like, oh yeah, Walk Don't Run. But yeah, nice to have some of these vintage shots. There's another shot of my brother and I after fishing one day that I love that my dad took similar age.
I have another one with you in the 5th grade talent show. How about that?
Yeah, I didn't even know this existed. Somebody sent this to me because it came into it was in the yearbook the year before, the grade above me. And I didn't have that yearbook, so I didn't know about it. So someone sent it to me. And what's funny about this is by then I'm a little bit older, and I had been studying, when I was really young, it was the mid 60s, and I had all these like hippie guys trying to show me stuff. And then of course I'm 7 years old, not so much discipline, but Yeah, I knew some things, but as I got older, I got with a teacher who was showing me fingerstyle stuff, and I learned to play classical gas.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm like, I think that's sixth grade. So I thought I was hot shit. I can play this. I thought, oh, I'll go up and yeah, I'll be like king for a day and win. But turned out to be one of the first of many humbling chances to learn humility in the music business. So who won was a girl who sang and played my favorite things on
Okay.
piano, and I came in second. But people in California, who I went to school with, they still remember me from that talent show. Oh, Classical Gas, was a big hit at the time.
Was it Mason Williams or?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Classical. I remember I used to play it on piano. You know what? You mentioned California, and I want to tell the audience because I was one that did not know that you grew up in California, that was where you were originally from. And when I saw these pictures of you, surfing and scuba diving and all these water sports, I'm like, wow. And then you told me, well, I grew up in California. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that.
that was our bag. Was because I mean we didn't live right at the beach. It was a uh, uh, um, personality building mile and a half walk to the beach,
Okay.
uphill on the way home. Character building, I think, is what I'm trying to think of.
That's right.
But nonetheless, we took advantage of it, and that was what everybody did. Is we surfed, and my brother actually, great scuba diver. He scuba doved a lot, and especially in the later years, he was great at lobster diving.
Wow.
So there was always like delicious, if I'd visit him, delicious lobsters to be had. And I would go scuba diving with them, although I didn't really have the killer instinct to get them. They
Yeah.
look at me and they just laugh. But my brother, he had it wired. He knew how to get them. And but the surfing, yeah, me and my friends, we'd surf before school, we'd go after school, surf as much as we could.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, his father surfed, and we went surfing at a place called San Onofre, which was a private beach at that time. And
I have some pictures I think I want to show a little later in the
yeah,
program. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
but careful, don't give me. Yeah, I'll never shut up because I wish I could still surf. I went back to it. I won't
No,
talk about it, but I went back to it later in life because I miss it so much. And
but here's
sure,
the question: how did you end up in Pittsburgh, of all places, after
yeah.
in California? Just tell me that.
Well, it was a little bit of a shock because I was 14 at the time, and yeah, I had all my 14-year-old friends, and we loved surfing. So one day my parents come to me and they say, "How would you feel about moving to Pittsburgh?" I'm like, Pittsburgh? Where's that? How far from the beach is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's far. But it was a blessing in disguise. So
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out well. And I
I think
did more
isn't
surfing.
there a Pittsburgh, California?
Oh
Doesn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
doesn't have the H on the end, but I think it's Pittsburgh, California, if I'm not mistaken.
In Northern California somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
small
Yeah, that's what I would have said. Pittsburgh, California.
town. It
So
worked out well moving to Pittsburgh, and now Pittsburgh kind of the place to be in a lot of ways.
and it's so many great musicians in Pittsburgh, and
Yeah,
even though we would like to see more happening, but there's a lot that happens there, compared to a lot of other places in the country.
it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
great
have,
musicians here, and
yeah.
it worked out well for me. You
Oh,
have
for
a
sure.
certain combination of musicianship, it will go well for you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two photos I'd like to share and have you tell us about these. Tell this one here.
Okay. Well, Well, this was right after I had spent about 3 years playing with Harold Betters, which was basically my breakout gig, playing in Pittsburgh at the age of 18, which was a great way to start, because with Harold we were working constantly, 4 or 5 nights a week. I'd pick up other work on the outside of that, and I got to meet everybody in town. It was really good. But then after a while, I was like, it was enough of Harold. I had to do something different. So I
Sure.
got this gig, and I'd already played with Dave Bram a lot with Harold, um, and yeah, Michelle probably had been a guest artist with Harold. I knew her. Cecil, I knew his dad was substituted with in Harold's group
Uh-huh.
prior. So yeah, somehow I knew Cecil, and then Tony Campbell. I don't know. I just knew everybody, but Cecil put that band together, and we played at a club in East Liberty called the Pyramid.
Okay.
And, yeah, I did that for a while. It was nice. It was a nice club, and
And besides you, that might be the youngest picture that I've seen of Michelle Benson in ever.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was a while ago. It would have been about, oh God, I don't know,
Yeah,
19,
she's younger.
82. Yes, a date
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
1982.
So yeah, that's a few years back. Yeah. And then I have this picture. It's a young Eric right there. Look at that.
Yeah, again, my dad, really, who was a great photographer, and yeah, I sometimes I forget that he was really a good portrait photographer. But yeah, nice shot that he did. That's a beautiful guitar. I wish I still had that guitar in
Oh, really?
some
Yeah.
ways. Yeah, that was the top of the line Gibson.
Wow.
But yeah, that would have been similar years. Actually, there's another shot that Lou Stallute, the saxophonist and flute player, we used to play a lot of duo gigs, and there's also a shot of us in tuxes from, I think, from the same day.
Uh-huh.
But when we used to do some nice private party work and wedding ceremonies and different
Oh,
things
sure. Yeah.
as a duo,
Nice.
it's a good business model. That would still work today.
Gibson. Yeah, they made a lot of great guitars, that's for sure.
Yes, yeah, they're yeah, very nice. Although I play a Eastman guitar now, which is made in China. I would not have guessed that, but I ended up going to China, which we'll probably talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the group that you founded, the Salsamba,
Yeah.
because this spans really many years, and the
Mm.
group is going strong today. I have the earliest photo I have is from 1987.
Yeah. Yeah. At Rudy Van Gelder's studio in Inglewood Cliffs, New Jersey. That was our first recording.
Okay.
And yeah, very exciting to do it at Rudy's studio with Rudy. Yeah, amazing engineer. He had everything set up, all the mics. He asked me what I was bringing. So I told him, and then we ended up bringing a bongo player. That's Dimas Sanchez standing in the back of the picture there. And Rudy, he looks at me and goes, "You didn't tell me you were bringing a bongo player." So he puts on the white gloves and gets a couple more mics, and he sets them up next in that booth right in back there. Sets
Okay.
them up next to George Jones, who was playing congas. Yeah, Rudy knew exactly how it was going to sound. He's twirling knobs. We're just getting set up. Before we were even warmed up, he had perfect finished sound. It sounded like a mastered
Wow.
album. Yeah, amazing. And he had recording direct to two track.
Rudy Van Gelder, that's who you're talking about there. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
amazing. Now we did the rest of our records. We did with another great engineer named Jack Gauthier, who I got to know really well, and became good friends. And I like working with Jack, so I did. Yeah, we did the rest of them with him, and a few other projects too. He's from Rhode Island.
Okay.
But
Well, I'd like to play a video. I have, this is of Salsamba, but of course it's more recent.
mhm.
I don't have anything from back in 1987, but this is Lamento, and this is Yobim tune. It's a cool tune. Let me play this video, and maybe after you could talk about it a little bit here. Pardon. And there it is. Nice, nice.
So Vito, this is how you know we've made it as a band. We have our own soy candle. If you notice in the montage of pictures, there's a little, that look like the record cover and a candle.
Yeah.
So the record label North Star, they had a little side business of selling soy candles that went along with because the record label sold a lot of their product at that time in gift shops. So they have a little listening station, and they sold a lot of Christmas music actually. So and sort of rewind the story of that record because that's the only record we did that wasn't self-produced. The recording engineer I mentioned, Jack Gauthier, he did a lot of recording for North Star Records, and he was always trying to get us a deal with them. So years before this, Yeah, I'm talking, it's like a 15-year overnight sensation. So yeah, to rewind the story, yeah, we did a demo session for them where we did a bunch of Joe Beam music, and they didn't go for it. And truthfully, the arrangements, they were kind of overwritten. I don't know. It just didn't happen, and it was kind of good that didn't happen because I don't know, that record would not have been as good. And then they asked for another demo session. We did some Christmas music, which was okay. You can hear that on my YouTube page.
Okay.
But then, after 50, I'd given up on them. And then suddenly one day they just go, well, we want you to do an album. And so we'll do half Brazilian music, and then you write the other half, so they wouldn't have to pay the royalties on that music. So I was like, okay, sure. And they, we were arranged it. They paid us to do it, and came out good. And I like that track. It's swinging pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great tune. Yeah. Joe Beam.
Yep. Love it.
Genius. Amazing. Yeah.
So let's talk about Eric Kloss. And you're playing with his band in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
A photo. And the interesting thing that I'll mention about this is that I knew Eric when he was in high school because my band, Eric's father was the superintendent of the Western Pennsylvania School for the Blind. And I don't know where I met his father, and he heard our band and he said, would you guys like to play for the prom for the blind school? And I'm thinking, okay. A few years when Eric was in high school there at the School for the Blind, and met him. And I think he played with our band a little bit, just come up, played a couple tunes with us. But I see here this is much after high school for sure. That was probably in this early mid 70s. This is probably what mid 80s or so.
80s, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was 30 something at that point.
How long did you play with Eric?
I played with him for, I don't know, maybe 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And it was really a thrill because I'd been a fan of his. I had a bunch of his records and I listened to them as a teenager. And yeah, I thought he was great. And he is. Yeah. Man, could he play? Oh, man. Yeah, great. Yeah, just incredible skill. Yeah, like ultra perfect pitch. Yeah, you could tap a wine glass and he'll tell you what note that is. Amazing. Very creative. And that was a nice group. Ray DeFade on drums, who was your drummer.
Sure.
I guess maybe later on. Dwayne Dolphin on bass. What did I say? Ray DeFade on drums, right? I did say that. Dwayne Dolphin on bass, George Jones, congas, myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was thrilling. Yeah. Eric could really play. Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, that's great. What a cool experience that would have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 2008, you performed in New York City with Kenya and her group, Sweet Rhythm, which was formerly known as Sweet Basil. And you had some great musicians with you on stage. I have a picture of that as well, here.
That's Helio Alves. Helio, I think they say. That's Leo Traversa on bass, and you can't see him, but it's Adriano Santos on drums, and then Kenya came up and sang, of course. That was like our warm-up number.
Okay.
But through Kenya, I got to play with really, some of the best Brazilian musicians. Yvonne Lins, Fernando Marlino. I was on a record that Kenya did, and a great piano from Brazil named Fernando Marlino was on that. Ayrton, the great percussionist known for his years playing with Chick Corea and Miles Davis. But he was everywhere for a lot of years, and a great guy, really wonderful person. So through Kenya, I was fortunate to play a lot of Brazilian music, which I loved.
Yeah.
All jazz musicians have a taste of Brazilian music because of the Jobim tunes that play "The Girl from Ipanema" or "Wave" or the typical tunes. But in my case, I wanted more than that. And then of course with my band, the album we talked about was all dedicated to playing Brazilian music, but mostly the band played Afro-Cuban jazz, which was a little different. But through Kenya, I got to play quite a lot of really good Brazilian music. I worked with another singer named Lily, who also, I still work with her. Played a lot of good stuff with her. Kenya, both of them great singers also.
Yeah. And Kenya, does she reside in Pittsburgh?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that her base right now? Yeah.
Yes. She lived for a while years ago in New York and also Los Angeles.
Okay.
But she's been in Pittsburgh for quite a while, which has been lucky for me because I got to work with her.
Yeah. So Eric, you mentioned before about being in China and playing a guitar that is made in China. And so let's talk a little bit about your time there. And you had, you played both with the George Hyde III Quartet, and you also had the Eric Susoeff Trio, both of those. So I have this photo here, and that's the quartet with George Hyde.
Yeah.
And what did you play there for about? Was it? Tony DePaulis was with me on tour for a few years with Eric Fade and the group. He was our bass player for a while, so I know him quite well. Sam Harris, I'm not familiar with, or of course George Hyde. I know the third. Was it like a 3-month stint that you played with these guys?
Yes, it was. Yeah, we played 6 nights a week in a city called Hangzhou, which is not far from Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was nice. Where they gave us an apartment, each our own apartment.
Oh, nice.
And nearby, and we played almost every night. We picked up extra work on our off on Saturday afternoon or Mondays occasionally, so we were quite busy playing. But also got to experience Chinese culture, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. People were almost invariably exceedingly nice.
Yeah.
And I got along great with the Chinese people. I loved it.
Yeah. My experience there was the same because, and I say when you tour as a musician, you get treated so well, especially you're in a different country like that. And I mean, they really lay the red carpet out, and it's just, it's an amazing experience because they're so nice.
Great. And now China, different than Japan, where Japan has this long history of loving jazz. And I went to Japan as a tourist, and I experienced what I'd heard of, which was, like walking into a 7-Eleven, and on the background music, like freaking Lee Morgan playing in a 7-Eleven on the background speaker above on the ceiling. Whereas in China, jazz is brand new.
Yeah. I remember going to a jazz club. I can't think. It's a common name club. I want to say something like the Blues Cafe or something like that in China, in Shanghai, when I was there, because I had a driver and they'd say, wherever you want to go. And I was there for so many days, like 12 days. And, I was able to, I had nights where I could do things. So, I said, is there any any place I can go here. So American jazz over here, and they took us and I went to go. It was pretty cool. It was very, very cool.
There is some history of jazz in Shanghai. I think like big band dance music maybe going back, but yeah, not all things considered, not so many jazz musicians around. Considering Shanghai has, oh God, like 24 million people or something. Yeah. And there's, a couple handfuls of jazz musicians there at most. Maybe more now. I think some of the younger people are getting into it. I knew a few people who went to UCLA to study, and so some of them doing well with it. I think it's only a matter of time before the scene picks. Well, it might be a little bit of time. As I put it, they're far from the source, but they're coming. They're coming with it.
Talk about your trio. I have this photo here. Eric Susoeff trio, and I thought that was cool, like the part that's in Mandarin. And when I got the program that I was involved in, they had my whole bio in Mandarin, which I thought was the coolest thing,
Yeah, the characters are beautiful. Yeah. There's something charming about being there, and it's the Chinese characters everywhere. This was on a return trip. I went there initially, and we played for 3 months, and then I traveled around for 2 weeks, and well, that was at the end. I was invited to play. This guy standing next to me here, he sang with us at our gig.
Okay.
His name was Liang, and he went by the name of Frankie. But our gig was in Hangzhou. Was a place called JZ. Was the name of the club.
Okay.
But he invited me to Dalian. He said, you must come to Dalian. You are my brother, he says. You must come to Dalian. So I fly up to Dalian, which is west of Beijing. And they treated me great. They took me all around, and we had this gig, and they fed me, and it was great fun.
How about this?
A week. That was on my day off.
Yeah.
So, someone took me to a nearby, that was near Hangzhou, a small city near. Yeah, I like that hat. Yeah, I didn't bring it home, but
you look like you're going to go out in the rice fields and harvest rice.
I met a guy at the gig, another guy, and who was named Chung Shur, and he lived in Xi'an, China, which is right in the center of China.
Okay.
And I said, well, when I met him at the gig, I said, when I'm done here, I'm going to travel around. And he said, well, you have to come to Xi'an. And so I'm like, okay. So eventually I did that. Well, I went up to Beijing first, and I stayed with Louis Lowenstein, the cello player who had married a Chinese woman and was living there at the time. And they took me all around to the famous spots in Beijing. And then I took a train all the way to the center of China Beijing, and then to the center of China, Xi'an. And I ended up staying with Chung Shur, and we went around, and we went to that club meeting jazz. So I ended up going back to, it was terrific, again, to the Chinese people, incredibly nice. But then I ended up getting a Chinese girlfriend in China after I came home, which I know. Yeah, I want to explain that exactly, but it happened. And so I went back to China 3 more times.
Oh, wow.
So I saw a lot of China. I went to, Taizhou, Wenzhou, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, back to Xi'an. And so I said to Chung Shur, I said, oh, I'd love to play at that club. So they hooked it up, and those were the local musicians
Mm-hmm.
who played with me. So
Like, yeah, they
I
would,
just
yeah,
played one night there for
yeah.
that, and that was on a return trip.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, again, really, really nice. Chinese
Yeah.
people were great.
So, Eric, let's go back to Salsamba for a minute.
Mhm.
Played at a holiday jam live on from Studio A,
Yeah.
uh, and I have a video I'd like to play, and it is the song "God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen."
Hmm.
Let me play this video, and we can talk about it after. There you go. Nice, nice.
Thanks. Well, the funny thing about this is, well, Eric was part of the house band um, for the show, which was an ongoing show. Really, really great. They
Live from
played so
studio.
much music,
Yeah.
yeah, live from Studio A. Yeah, they played a lot of wonderful stuff, and they had many guests. So he he got us to do this spot, which was really nice. You know, it was great production, great show. But what the funny thing is, you know, so we finally get in there and we start playing, we play. So we play a take, and it was good. You know, like, oh, nice, excellent, first take,
Yeah.
great. And so then the producers, whoever, they're like, okay, good, do it again. I'm like, what? You know, 'cause in a recording session, if you got a take, that'd be it. You know,
Yeah.
you'd be
Right.
done. So we do it again, good. So they're like, okay, we just some lighting or something, blah blah blah. Play it one more time.
Jeez.
So I don't know which I don't know which take that was, but
Yeah.
you know, for the record, we played it 3 times well.
Here you go. Yeah. And did you do that arrangement?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I love that. It's very, very neat arrangement. I like it.
Yeah.
And and uh, and I also like your improv where you just seamlessly go from playing single note improv licks and things and go to those chords, and it's just so cool. And then back to single note. It's just like really nice, really tasty,
It's definitely a piano kind of concept. You play a little, play some chords, fill it in. Yeah, the more I played without a piano player, the more, at least for my ears, like play the chords. The chords sound great, and I've been fortunate to play with some really great saxophonists. So when you play with someone like that, Eric Kloss, Don Allico Jr., Luce DeLute, Eric DeFade, etc.
Yeah.
You might ask yourself when they're done playing, now what? What do I do now? Like, so I'm like, well, play some chords in there. The chords sound good in there. Throw them in.
Yeah.
Try to make sense. Try to make sense melodically. Throw in some chords and don't think too much.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It'll be fine.
And it's great.
It's a fun challenge. It's a fun challenge.
The arrangement that you did doesn't make it feel like so much a Christmas song, just like a really cool tune, and that's nice. I like it.
There's a lot of harmony. I threw in a lot of substitute chords and passing chords, things like that, and the groove.
The whole groove, yeah.
Grooving well. So it's.
So, Eric, you played with the John Wilson Big Band, and of course we had that very first opening video that we did your song, Mr. Montgomery. John arranged, Doc Wilson arranged that, and then I have this photo, and you played, and I guess was Dakota Staton the vocalist?
That's right. That's at the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild.
Yeah.
We backed her up. It was nice. It was great to work with John. He for sure one of the best arrangers. He and Mike Tamaro literally wrote the book on jazz arranging. They have a excellent book on jazz arranging. I played the guitar on the included CDs. So long after all the gigs dried up in the noonday sun, long from now, some student of jazz arranging will say, who's this Eric Susoeff guy? He's on the CD. But it was a thrill to play with John. We played, hit music, and it was always so beautifully arranged by him.
Yeah.
I played with that group for 30 years. So I initially went to, well, I didn't go to Duquesne, but I went there and audited his class to study arranging.
Okay.
With him, and then he needed a guitar player in his band at that time. So, I got the gig, and that was like in the early 80s, 1980 maybe.
Okay.
81, something like that. And we worked at least for 30 years. And so that was one of the gigs we did at the Guild, backing her up. She was famous for her song The Late Late Show. And I think she's originally from Pittsburgh, but long before me. John Wilson, brilliant guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have an interesting picture I want to show, because you're playing, is this at Falling Water?
Mm-hmm.
And is that with Jeff Bush?
Yeah.
Right.
Who is now heading up the jazz program at Duquesne.
Oh, is he? He is. Okay.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
After Mike Tamaro then retired, and then that's Jeff took over.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. That was a fundraiser. Marty Ashby called me for this. I don't know. Honestly, I can't remember if it was a fundraiser for the Guild or it was for somebody. Sorry, I can't remember. But I was thrilled to get the job because I love Falling Water.
You and me both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like this is news. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so thrilled to because I've been there many times, and then to have the chance to play there. So I was actually playing solo guitar up there on the balcony, and then they had different jazz musicians peppered around the house.
Oh, okay.
And then
Cool.
Jeff came up to sit in with me. So some of the horn players would circulate around, and we play impromptu. Paul
I,
Costantino actually came up, and we did a little thing too. But
you know,
yeah, it was fun. And I remember we played a samba version of "No Greater Love." That's what we're playing.
of all the times I was there, and I've been there a number of times as well, and I love going through that historic place, but
Mhm.
I've never seen live musicians performing there ever. So this was like
Yeah.
so, and I'm very, very good friends with Dennis Astorino, who's an architect, and he did all of the renovations of this
Oh,
structure here. And Dennis gave me some of the architectural drawings and things of this. I have pictures
wow.
and things. So yeah, it's very much into Frank Lloyd Wright and in his work. So it was really cool. And I just thought that was the coolest thing to see you playing right there at Falling One at that house. That's just amazing.
The house is so incredible. There's nothing like it anywhere, and it's amazing that it's close to us here in Pittsburgh that we can
Yeah.
see it. But yeah, I was thrilled to get that call and play
So
there. And as for the record, Jeff Bush, magnificent trombonist, musician. Yeah.
yeah, another one. They're endless in Pittsburgh. You know that.
Yeah, yeah, amazing because the city not really that big,
Yeah.
but it's loaded. Yeah, I shouldn't. I'm surprised people don't move here because it's relatively inexpensive, and there's a good scene of yeah,
And the people are nice too. It's a
yeah,
nice people.
yes.
Yeah. I lived here for 70 years, so yeah, I know. Other than 3 years in South Miami, I lived here for 70 years, and now I'm in a new place, and I like it here too. It's
I
beautiful.
like Florida also. My daughter was living there for 5 years, and my
Okay.
son lives in Tampa.
Okay.
And yeah, I like the fact that there's an ocean there and tropical, and I like Latin culture. Is
Yeah.
also great. Latin music, of course.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Miami, I played with Cuban bands that I think it was only one guy that spoke English, and that was the drummer. And I had to communicate with the drummer to talk with everybody else because I didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah, I wondered if they would tolerate if I did. I was actually thinking of moving there. Maybe had my daughter stayed there,
Yeah.
but always wondered would they tolerate me because man, they're playing Latin music. Holy, they're playing like it's great.
Yeah, it
And
is.
and it's beautiful how the Latin culture comes together, meaning some really good Latin bands and then the people dancing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see that come together.
Yeah. And they're great dancers too.
Mhm.
Great
Yeah.
dancers. I mean, it's just nice. It's just wonderful to see. I mean, and here, my wife and I, when we lived in South Miami, and we used to go to Miami Beach, there was a hotel there that they had about a 12-piece, Latin band there, and we just go just to hear the music and watch these people dance. I mean, it was, sip on a drink.
Great.
Yeah.
You can go to Calle Ocho nowadays. They fixed it up, and I don't want to. I'll say they turned it into a tourist spot, but in the greatest possible way.
Yeah.
The clubs and the bands and the food. It's wonderful. You go there. Yeah.
So, Eric, let's talk about the Bill Hyde organ trio. I have this picture here, and you're listed there as a guitar, George Hyde playing drums. And who is Bill Hyde? Is obviously related to George, or maybe, huh?
Yeah. I like the spelling of the my name misspelled so often. But
Yeah, I see that. I see.
that's okay.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame me for that anyhow.
Yeah, yeah. It's a Russian name. We should say it, more like it originally would be Susoeff in Russian.
Oh, okay.
It makes a little more sense, but
Susoeff. Yeah, I agree.
anyway, yeah, I knew Bill. That's George's brother.
Oh,
I
okay.
know them. I studied with Tony Janflone, who was a friend of theirs going way back, and so at some point, yeah, maybe 17, 18 years old, I met both George and Bill, and so I saw a lot of George because I actually lived across the street from him in Aspinwall
Okay.
for about 14 years. But I knew Bill, and yeah, Bill is a great organist. He's one of the handful of people that still playing jazz organ in the truest traditional way. Yeah, for real, I should say. It's not traditional. I mean, he plays modern ideas and stuff too, but he is a great piano player, singer. He sings the blues and otherwise. So yeah, that was really a nice club in Cleveland called Nighttown. So I drove up there and we had a little trio gig. George Hyde III, George's son, playing drums. But yeah, I've known Bill forever. He's totally a character, and yeah, he could play. Wow.
Yeah.
He's another one. Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh. They're from Pittsburgh, but yeah, Bill lived in Chicago for a while, and then Detroit. He lives in the DC area now.
Okay. Let's go back to Salsamba for a second. I have a formal shot here. That's pretty cool. I love the. Well, isn't that Spanish when they put the exclamation on both ends?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Spanish. I remember that because I did take Spanish in high school. I remember that, but that's kind of cool. But there you go. Now I recognize, of course, George Jones. I'm going to start on that side. Eric DeFade, and then you, and then the next two guys. Tell me.
Rich Luce on bass.
Okay.
John Rampolla.
Oh, and John, yeah.
Yeah, he played timbales and then drum set. Originally, I liked the group with timbales because I was thinking, the guitar instead of piano is a little bit lighter. I was inspired by Cal Jader's early groups where it was just timbales. But then a lot of the drummers in Pittsburgh, drums really their instrument. So
sure.
They would play drums. I would say, cool, just make it sound like timbales. Play like a timbale player as much as you can. And so Tom Wendt has been with us for years now, and he has it down. Yeah.
So I have another.
Also, that's one of my dad's photos, actually.
Oh, your dad took that photo?
Oh yeah, he took most of our photos.
Yeah, a talented photographer for sure.
So I would ask him, I'd say, give me some tips on composition, for my own photography. And he would say, look for shapes. So if you notice in that picture, it's sort of almost a circular shape to the grouping.
Yep.
Yeah, the way we're in. Yeah. He'd arrange you, and you wouldn't know why until later. Then you see it. Oh, okay, I see what you're going for.
Yeah. That's cool.
Nice shot. I'll say that.
So I have another video I'd like to play. This is the group Salsamba playing Corcovado.
Okay.
So we'll play this and we can comment afterwards.
changes there.
I
Like
love
how
that.
books, key change.
What a groove, though, man! What a groove! Just like moves, you know, and it's great.
Now those pictures, I took all those pictures. Those were from a
Did you? Yeah.
2008 trip. I went to Brazil with Kenya for 2 weeks, and yeah, those are all my photos. So that shot of the people trying to catch a wave there, that's where I went surfing.
Uh-huh.
Well, not every day, but most of the days, as much as I could.
So you did some surfing in Brazil too, huh? Off the
Yeah,
coast.
yeah, we had some gigs, but there weren't so many gigs. And I was staying in a hotel right on the beach, well, as close as you can be. There's like the avenue there between the beach in Copacabana. So every day I would get my board and then walk over to the near side of Ipanema Beach, where the surfing was. There's a section in between the two beaches called Apuador, and they call that little surfing spot, they actually call it Apuador because it's right next to the land mass, but it's really Ipanema Beach, and
I
yeah, we
see.
surfed there. And so when I was out there waiting for waves to come in, if I looked straight back, I could see the Christ statue.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And not that it's really close, but you can see it. It's in the distance there.
It's up on the hill. Did you see the girl? The girl from Ipanema?
I did actually. Yeah, I didn't include that picture on the and that reel, but yeah, she's around.
Yeah. Was Stan Getz there too?
I wish we did go to the Girl from Ipanema restaurant, which was
Oh, really?
where
That's fun.
they reportedly wrote the song and where she would walk by.
Yeah.
And they
Wow.
had like a scratched version of the chart, original chart, hanging up.
That's neat. That's
That
neat.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so beautiful there. There's a picture everywhere you look.
Speaking of you surfing, look at this. This is you surfing in California, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's at Topanga.
Topanga.
It's
Yeah.
the beginning of Malibu, meaning if you're in LA and you're heading up into Malibu, that's near the start of it.
I can't imagine how you do that. And when I see people surfing, that just like baffles me. I mean, I was just never athletic to begin with, but that's wow.
Yep. Well, yeah, like I said, that when we were growing up, that was our thing, and even before I surfed, you'd go to the beach and you'd have your little styrofoam board that as a child, you'd be catching the white water on. And so, you're really growing up with it.
Yeah, right.
And then, like I said, it was a shock to come to Pittsburgh, although a blessing in disguise. For the music, it worked out great. But
Sure.
when I turned 40, I was like, you know what? I could still surf. I missed it so much.
Oh, wow.
So what I did, was I knew I had to be in shape, because the times I'd surfed in the interim, I'd try to go out there, but surfing is so strenuous, and it's not just the surfing, the wave riding, it's the paddling. Paddling is so hard. It doesn't, they make it look easy, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to get in shape. So at that time, it was before all the online purchasing was so popular.
Okay.
So I knew I needed a board, and I knew I was going to get a board and paddle it in the river to get in shape, which is what I did. And I paddled in that river, as I would put it, off the coast of Blawnox.
Oh my God.
For 20 years. So eventually I got a stand-up paddleboard, and I'm sure I was the first one in Pittsburgh with a stand-up paddleboard. But I paddled, I got a board, and it was funny because I had to call all these surf shops. I tried them on the East Coast, I tried them on the West Coast, and I found that one of the perks for young guys working in a surf shop maybe is that you can be there, and then you can smoke pot all day. The guys are like wasted. I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out what board to buy, how to do it, and I eventually got with a really a great shop in Hermosa Beach. It was a great brand and a really reputable place. They knew exactly, and I got a board. I got a couple boards from them ultimately, but yeah, paddled it in the river. You know, I was very dedicated. I mean, to be a surfer in a landlocked state, you have to be dedicated.
That, yeah, for
So
sure.
I paddled it as much as I could, and I got into I exercised, and I went surfing as much as I could manage, which was a bit of a trick because my kids were young at that time. So getting away just even for a week, I was married and with the young kid trying to get away for a week, tricky.
Yeah.
So I'd manage it and I'd surf as much as I possibly could for a week.
Yeah.
And I'd surf for about a month out of the year, all added up. And then once near the end of that, the 20 years, I surfed from when I was 40 to 60 from here, my surfing renaissance, let's call it. That my kids had grown up by then, so I could stay longer. And yeah, I'd do other things. I'd go and hear music in Los Angeles and stuff too. But
Well, I have
I loved it until I had heart surgery. Then and now I can't surf anymore. But
yeah.
uh,
Tell,
I did what I could.
you did a lot. I mean, and you mentioned that paddle boarding. I got to tell you, I here in Naples, I live on a fairly large lake, and
Mhm.
there you can have little boats. I mean, there's little sailboats, and there's little like a rowboat with a 5 horsepower motor, electric motor that people fish and things like that. But no big boats or anything like that. But there's a guy that paddle boards like stands up, right, and rows this thing on it. And there's alligators in this lake, and I'm thinking, why would you do that? I mean, what happens if you slip and fall, or I
Yeah,
mean,
I've
I,
heard any fresh water in Florida, you got to figure there's an alligator.
no, absolutely.
And Florida kind of wild. I mean, there's a lot of sharks in Florida. I haven't seen them personally, but I know they're there nowadays. Everybody with their drone
Yeah,
footage and yeah, the sharks. Like, oh my
yeah.
God.
Speaking of sharks, look at this picture.
Oh yeah, that's right. My shark buddy.
Your shark buddy. That's pretty interesting picture there. You have, you know what? There's no substitute for youth, right?
Yes. But I went to Belize twice to go diving,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I want to, what you need a guide. They control the reefs, which is smart because it keeps them in good condition. People aren't just running amok over the reef and maybe
Yeah.
ruining it. So you're with a guide. So the guide takes you all around. They have an underwater national park, basically. And the
Okay.
guide, he knows where everything is. Oh, French angelfish, follow me. And you follow him, and there, sure enough, that's where they live. He knows where all the fish are living in the reef.
Right.
And then when you're done, you get back in the boat, and then you go down the reef a ways to what they call Shark Ray Alley. And he says, well, we'll swim with the sharks. And as he put it, he said, if my buddies show up, we can hold the sharks. So sure enough, like 5 minutes later, Alphonse, I think it was his name. He's got one under his arm. Hey, everybody, it's one of my buddies. And then he's got another one. Hey, it's my other buddy. And then he hands it off to you, and then he says, "No, man, you got to pet it like this. It likes that." I'm like, "Okay, whatever it likes,
Yeah.
I'll do it." And then, my brother, we had underwater cameras, and he actually had video,
It's
and
crazy.
so we did this once, and then we went back to Belize later also, and did it again.
Yeah.
It was great. Nice warm water, and lots of beautiful reef and lots of clear water. yeah, super. Yeah, and friendly sharks. Now he says, don't do this anywhere else. Only here, only with me.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, like, yeah, don't get the wrong idea.
We had a similar experience. Took my grandchildren through a tour in the Everglades, and the tour guide was a Miccosukee Indian,
Hmm.
and he showed us where his grandparents grew up in the middle of the Everglades. I mean, it was crazy. Their beds were like real high, and their tables were everything was real high. Like I guess so they could sleep and not worry about critters. But anyhow, he was real young, and he befriended an alligator. It
Wow.
was a little, and now he's older, and the alligator is older, and he said, "Just stay here and watch." And he went down over the thing, and he called this alligator. He had a call that he used with his,
Hmm.
and this alligator came in. He called it Mama Alligator or something, and it was huge. And he just
Wow.
came up to him, and then he put his hand, and he knew where to pet this alligator, like right, behind the neck or
Yeah.
something. And he just like talked to it, and the alligator was really cool. Like I'm like, that's not me.
Amazing. I mean, when we went there at the first time, I had to say it's a little intimidating. You
Yeah.
see the nurse sharks, and they look like sharks. I mean, they're a little bit different. They don't have to swim constantly. They have regular gills, so
Okay.
they're more like fish in that way. But still, it's like, well, it looks like sharks.
Yeah.
But
That.
once you get in there and you realize what's going on, there's a lot of stingrays, of course, too, which are also very docile,
Yeah.
you know. But once you get the hang of what's going on, but
Yeah.
yeah, it would freak me out. Like an alligator? Are you kidding me? Like, no.
It's really cool that you grew up with that, with the water sports and just being in the ocean, and that's the key. It's like somebody that's a boat on, like boaters,
Yeah.
sailboats or whatever. They grow up with that. It's just like very natural for them to do that. But if you try to learn it when you're 40, it's a different story. It's just different.
Yeah, my brother also a great sailor. I mean, he knew everything about it. He was into it since he was a kid,
Yeah.
knowing about boats and sailing. And then his son grew up with it, and he knew about it just from growing up and being around it. Um, yeah, yeah, sailing, yeah, amazing art form.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
know what, Eric, it's really great to get to know this side of you because, of course, everyone knows you're a musician and a guitarist and a composer and things, but no, but I don't think too many people know about.
well, as I used to tell people, yeah, like I said, yeah, I miss surfing so much. But when I was surfing, I would say, yeah, this whole music thing is great. It helps take my mind off surfing, which in Pittsburgh is a joke. They're
Yeah.
like, whoa, oh, wow. But in California, if you say that, everyone's like, of course,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all surfing, nowadays more than ever.
I'm
So
sure.
yeah, then nobody laughs in California, but here they're surprised.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's talk about, you did a filming for Netflix on
Hmm.
a program called Mind Hunter, and I have
Yeah,
a photo right here. You
yeah.
the sunglasses, man. You're like, serious. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Tell us.
Bronwyn, the singer, she hooked this all up, which was great. She got wind of the fact that they needed people for the production, and we had done a duo gig where she had brought her camera and filmed some of it, and she used that for partly on getting the gig, and so we got the gig, but the um, setting was 1970s,
Okay.
so we had the look of the 70s. Luckily that guitar is from that period, and we had to go to for a fitting where we
Uh,
tried on all this disco clothing, which was great fun. So I lucked out. Tony got Jay Leno's hair, I think, or mustache. Yeah, he got it. I think that's a wig. Yeah, got Jay Leno's hair and mustache and a shiny shirt. I was a little luckier with the clothing, but the mustache, the fake mustache, and so the director, who was a great guy, he was having the time of his life. We're setting up, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Go get some glasses." So without the glasses, I look like Ned Flanders. But with the glasses, I look like a 70s porn star. But
That's
I wrote the music that you hear when you see that scene. Now if you blink, we're way in the background. We filmed all day, but once it's all edited,
sure.
you never know. But yeah, it's pretty small. But the music that's being played in the background is I wrote that, and Bronwyn wrote words to it, and
Okay.
so that's what you hear in that little. It's about a minute or a couple minutes of
Yeah.
the show. But it was fun. It was really different to do that, and everybody on the set was really cool. And some of the people there was like a lighting guy sitting right next to me, and he's like, "Oh, are you guys really playing that?" Because I had the music sitting right there to be authentic to the whole. I didn't know how they were going to film it,
Right.
and yeah, he was like, "Oh, yeah, it's great to have real musicians doing this." Because when it's actors, it's usually awful. They don't know
Yeah.
how to do it just right. But yeah, fun to do, fun. Yeah, different. Yeah, show business.
Another great experience, right?
Yeah, yeah,
On the road.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk just a second about your uh, being Professor Eric Susoeff, the educator, and you're an adjunct professor of guitar at Duquesne University School of Music.
Hmm.
And I have two pictures I want to show. This one
Hmm.
is jazz faculty
Yeah.
at Duquesne, and I think I know a lot of these folks. Maybe you tell us, who do you know everybody here, left to right, or you want to start on your?
Yeah, J.D. Chasen on trumpet, Paul Thompson, of course, bass, Tom Wendt, Jeff Bush, Max Sleek, Mike Tamaro, and myself.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good
all.
band.
And I can't believe, for me, as I told you about my beginnings with jazz at Duquesne, to what you have an actual jazz faculty of seven professors there. That's awesome. I think it's great. So
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice job. I mean, my students, I love my students. They're great people and they love music. They want to learn. It's a great job.
yeah, that's good. How about this picture here?
Uh,
Is he
the
one of
great
your?
one of my students. Yeah, right. Yeah.
He showed up on a couple times on these podcasts that I have. Other
Mhm.
guests. That Joe, he's 100 years old now.
Yeah. How about that? Is that great?
God
Yeah.
bless him, And what a great guy and a great musician and
For sure.
a gold medal of Pittsburgh, really, so wonderful. And that's a nice picture with you and Joe together there.
That is nice. Yeah. Yeah. No, I knew him from the age of 16 when I auditioned to play the musical Hair at a local theater, and I got the gig for it was a couple of weeks long. But Joe was like helping them audition the band, and that's when I first met Joe. I was 16 years old, and then I would see him around, and then he would be playing a solo gig. This is like some years later, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, and I would go sit in with him, and we play guitar duets. And then at that time, he was hiring me to play some duets with him, um, which was a great honor and great
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Yeah.
He's a magnificent guitar player. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 tremendous. Everyone knows him from TV and different things, but as he would tell you, yeah, I'm a musician at heart.
Yeah.
He
For sure.
definitely is. Yeah.
Well, Eric, I have, getting back to Salsamba for a minute, I'm going to play a short clip of the song Conversa, which
Mhm.
features Max Leak on piano.
Mhm.
Let me play this and then you can comment about it. Here you go.
Yeah. Some real elegant playing there by Max.
Yeah, he is such a great player. Really, such a, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fits the music yeah, perfectly. I think for a lot of those Brazilian songs, they're beautiful. Although I wrote that tune, so I guess I can say that. Also a pretty song, but yeah, you don't want to overdo that, on your
right.
improvisation. Just play elegantly, melodically. Yeah, he nailed it. Wow.
Yeah, he
Uh,
sure did. Very cool. Tell us about Mike Tamaro. Now, he was the head of the jazz program at Duquesne for quite a while. He just retired recently.
mhm.
Uh, in his Night Owl Suite recording session, I have a picture. This is interesting. There's like
Oh yeah.
everybody that's everybody, right? Steve
Yeah.
Bach, I see Steve next to Mike right there in the front, Eric DeFade, Jim Gurman,
Yeah.
Ralph Guzzi. You're back there with Paul Thompson. And, I'm trying to see Bob Matchett, Jimmy Guerra's in there. Is that Sean Jones?
Yeah, he should be there. He was. I think he was
And
on. Or no, I don't know if he was on that, but Dave
bass,
Glover was the drummer.
there's a couple people I don't know in there. Not many. I know most of them.
Yeah,
So tell
Gurman.
me about that session. It was a recording session for Night Owl Suite, and I never got to hear that.
Oh, it's a
So
good record. Yeah,
yeah,
album, I guess I should say. Yeah, Mike Tamaro, inheritor of the John Wilson mantle
right.
of great arranging, and yeah, beautiful writing and composing and arranging, and it's a good record. You can find it on YouTube. Um,
I'll
yeah,
check it out.
I felt fortunate to be part of that. We actually did a second record that never came out, unfortunately. So I don't know, maybe someday, somehow that'll come out.
Okay.
I keep asking Mike about it, but putting out a CD is not as easy as people might think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, again at George Hyde's studio, good sounding record all the way around. Yeah, wonderful.
Tell me about this picture here.
I love this picture. Yeah, my
Yeah.
kids inherited, some of the water culture. So when they were little, we used to swim in the summer times at the Fox Chapel Yacht Club. So yeah,
Okay.
I brought a camera one day, and yeah, I love how confident and casual they are,
Casual.
even though they're underwater.
That's a good word, casual. It's like
Uh,
no big deal, you know?
they're just like, no problem. Yes, this is
Yeah,
how
right.
we roll.
It's
But
interesting. That's a great picture.
my son, a fine musician of his own, he plays piano, and
Okay.
he makes electronic music. Lives in Tampa, and
Oh,
um,
that's
he's
not
also
far.
been DJing lately. And then my daughter also loves music. We originally, when she was little, we did Suzuki violin lessons together, which sounded innocent. Um, because they want you to learn, the parent to learn along with the child. But
Sure.
since I was a musician and I played the guitar, it turned into my own violin lessons for a couple of years, and I learned a lot about the violin, which I used for my knowledge of arranging uh, for string quartet, actually, and other violin writing that I did. I wrote a book on violin. I was really into it for a couple of years, and then I switched to surfing. Uh, but yeah, the violin, I love the violin, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, guitar played all my life, but violin, yeah, I'd spend months trying to play things in tune. And but yeah, like I said, I wrote arrangements for violin for the Quartetto Latino Americana,
Hmm.
and I wrote a book. One of the books that almost every violin student uses is written by a guy named Franz Wolfart. Oh yeah, there they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's
yeah,
great.
really sang. Yeah, they were really nice. They were great folks, and um, but I wrote a book on. Yeah, there was one of the books you use as a violin student, written by, called "60 Studies for the Violin" by Franz Wolfart, and it's very smartly written, really intelligently composed. But then it addresses the violin and things you need to learn about playing it for an intermediate level. So yeah, there's this book is all over the world, I'm sure, used constantly. So what I noticed is my teacher would improvise an octave or a harmony note here or there, because a unison with a student violinist, myself included, is horrible. It's out of tune. It's awful. So since I could write music, I'm like, well, why don't I just write a part for my teacher to play? So I started doing that, and eventually I wrote 30 of them for the first half of the book. And I thought, oh, this would be great. Every violin teacher on earth will want this. But it turned out to be, as I call it, the get rich slowly scheme. But you can hear it on my YouTube page. And if you want a copy of the book, um, I'll send it to you. And what I do is I just send it to people, and then they give me a donation if they can, if they want to. And there's been some people, yeah, they're very excited about it for the reasons I mentioned. It makes, it's the book is really for the teacher. The second part is not really a student part. But yeah, yeah, one day it'll be everywhere, I hope. My great grandchildren will be rich.
There you go. There you go. I know. It's funny. Well,
Yeah,
listen,
you can hear that on there's recorded, it's from my computer, but you can hear what I'm doing uh, on my YouTube page. If you're a violinist and you're interested in this, um, yeah, you can go check it out to see
sure.
if you like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Um, Eric, most of the videos that I showed, the songs were from the Brasilia album, but
Mhm.
the one that I want to play is from your newest album called Mojito Blues. By the way, I love mojitos.
Yes, they're good.
Drink Mojito Blues. So I love that title. And this is a tune by Wayne Shorter
Mhm.
called Five Faux Fum. I'm going to play this video, and then maybe after you can talk about this. Okay.
Sure.
Here. Wow. Some really great playing on there. You and Eric, the solos, George Jones. I mean, it's all great.
It's every lick I know.
Yeah. There were a lot of them in there, and two styles too. Great.
Yes, I just say that's Afro-Cuban 6/8, and then not every Latin jazz group can swing, but it's a nice option to have.
Yeah.
And the swing sounds very fresh after the Afro-Cuban rhythms.
I love it. It reminds me when I was young, I had this albums by Heath versus Ross, and Ted Heath was an English big band, swing band, and then of course Edmundo Ross was a Latin band, and they got together and people, whoever did the arrangements, and like this band would start in their style, and then it would kick into the Latin style, swing.
Right.
Really great album. I mean, Heath versus Ross. It's on YouTube. Look it up. It's great.
I have to look that up. Yeah.
Two different bands, but doing what you're doing with one group, going back and forth to these two styles. And I think it's wonderful, to hear that switching gears in them. It's very exciting to me.
Yeah, and of course Wayne Shorter wrote that song. Who's written so many great.
Well, Eric, it's been wonderful having you on the program. I appreciate your time, and
thank you, Vito. What
a career, and if I played all the recordings, we'd be here a week.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I mean, I came from Los Angeles, which of course is an music industry place, but it's been, for me anyway, it worked out great to come to Pittsburgh. Maybe more artistic. It's hard to know what would happen had I stayed. Maybe more in the artistry of jazz here, the art form. Maybe affords more of that here in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure, but it worked out well. You've been doing plenty of it, and still you're quite busy with it. So yeah. Well, I'm very thankful for that.
And keep going, keep being busy with it. That's great. You have a lot ahead of you too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. It was really a lot of fun.
Been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, Eric, you have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, great.
All right. And there you go. Another episode of Memories of a Musician with Eric Susoeff. What a great player and composer, and also a teacher, and also just a gentleman and a great guy. And how about a surfer too, and scuba diver? That's amazing. So looking ahead to next week, May 13th, be sure to tune in to Memories of a Musician to meet the acclaimed trombonist and music educator, Kevin M. McManus. From Broadway to the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Kevin has shared the stage with icons like Tony Bennett, Aretha Franklin, Lou Rawls, Gloria Gaynor, the Manhattan Transfer, and the Temptations. An Edwards Instruments artist and dedicated educator, Kevin currently teaches in the Plum Borough School District and serves as the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association jazz representative, and has written multiple articles for their journal. His latest writing, an interview with trombonist James Pankow of the legendary rock band Chicago, and it was published in the International Trombone Association Journal. The episode will be streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Kevin McManus on Memories of a Musician on Wednesday, May 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me, and have a great evening.